you doing? Yeah. So I've been sitting in my studio trying to get this thing all dialed in, and it's not so bad. It's not so bad, you know. And so I'd like to bring to you my wildlife photography, in from my hard drive. You know, it's not like you can take a lot of photos, and wildlife's hard to sell. Wildlife is hard to sell, man. So I get a lot of them in my hard drive. So I thought maybe I'd share them with you. You know, check this guy out. Yeah, that little guy. You know, it's an all right picture. It's not bad. It was late at night, real grainy. Let's take a look at that guy. So he's a little cartoonish looking. I had to do a lot of work in Lightroom just to get the image out. But I like the look in his eye. He's looking at you. In wildlife, the animals will hear your shutter and they'll look. And it's kind of like a nice little pose. But let's get into this. 1/2000th of a second. That's a sitting bird. I could have been way lower on my shutter speed there. F6.8, that's not too bad. I had my little 70 to 300 DX. That was my little lens. Yeah, but all in all, that's not a bad shot, for a beginner, and we all start somewhere. We're beginners, you know. Some beginners start with a big old pot of gold. Some beginners start with nothing at all. So you get out there and you shoot, and you shoot, and you get it right. You try to get it right every time, every time. Let's see what we got next. Turkeys. Now these turkeys, let me tell you. So a friend of mine, he lived in this, I don't know, Brandstetter, Redding, California. And these turkeys, they roosted across the street every night. So they always came through his yard, in the evening hours, plucking away and shit. So he's like, come on over, shoot some turkeys. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I never thought I'd catch this shot. Look at that. 3 turkeys abreast, you know? They're all just proud little guys. Look at them fluffing their feathers, you know? If you look at the photos a little, not quite right. Let's see here. We got the shutter speed at 1/2000th. They're just sitting there, dude. Now, I was worried about the camera shake. Getting a blurry image sucks. You go back to home and you throw in your computer and all of a sudden all your images have a little bit of blur. I'm like, damn it, that's not good. Okay, so but if you notice here on these guys, the tail feathers. The tail feathers are just a little bit blurry. The faces are nice, but the tail feathers. I could have done something different. What could I have done? Oh, f5.6. Now if I went f8, my depth of focus. Now your depth of focus, it's the amount where your subject is, foreground and background. Foreground, background, whatever. Anyhow, so f.8 really puts a thin line of focus right on your subject. 5.6. So f8 would have opened up my focal plane just a little bit, and maybe we could have got them feathers. I don't know. Okay, so that was the turkeys, and they were cool. They were cool. My first couple shots, really just learning. Learning. We're all learning. You're learning how to do it. Let's see what we got next. Oh, now this dove. This dove. So I was at my boss's house doing some work, and this dove kept flying by, and I was like, wow, I wonder if I can get a picture of that dove, print it out, and give it to his wife. She can see what that bird looks like. Birds fly by so fast that you don't see what they really look like until you take a photo of them. And we'll check this guy out. That's a nice little dove. Just sitting there so proudly on that little tree. Now, that's a tree he cut off in his front yard. You know, look at the growth coming up in it. But I did pretty good. Got the green, a little bit of Lightroom work. 1/2000th of a second on my shutter. Damn, that's a sitting bird. I could have dropped it down to 1/1000th. I don't know. The camera will give a little bit of shake when you hit your shutter, when you're holding it, and it just doesn't. So 1/1000th was where I played. That's where I was at all the time. I was worried about shutters and a fuzzy image, a blurred image. That's the most important. If you ain't got a sharp, crisp image, it just looks like Jack, dude. It looks like Jack. But no, that's a pretty good bird. So you're like, could have brought my f-stop down. You know, there's nothing behind him. The f4.6 gets a lot of light into the sensor. Yeah, that's not a bad shot. That is not a bad shot. Okay, so, you know, playing with your camera, playing with your equipment, making sure, you know, here's the deal. If you don't know what you did wrong, you can't get it right. You know, you can't make it right. You can't fix it. So study your photos. Take a lot, you know, I take a lot of bad photos and look at them going, wow, this is what I should have done differently. What do we got? What do we got? Yeah. So this guy, now I was in Redding, California at the Sundial Bridge taking shots. And in the distance, coming in the sky, I seen this speck coming up. And so I think I had my 70-300 lens, so I really didn't get very far. But I was just snapping away, trying to get that guy. And you know what? That's not a bad shot. I don't have no information on it, but that's not a bad shot. Did a little work on Lightroom, but it's telling a story. Your photos have to tell a story. That's the deal. They don't tell a story. They just look, you know, like, yep, that's a bird. You know, but no. You know what that story is? That story is that 5-pound trout. He pulled that right out of the river and he's heading home, heading back to the nest. Probably got some babies there and shit. You're telling a story. When you take your photos, you want to tell a story to someone else. What you were doing, what is happening in that scene, you know, without having to say a word. So yeah, he's carrying that fish. That's a nice fish, man. That's a nice fish. What do we got?